What's up, guys? Today I'll be going over the Scripture of When. You can get this drop from the new Archglacior boss in the Elder God Wars dungeon. This is a pocket slot item just like the God books and the Scripture of Joss, and it has the same stats as the Scripture of Joss. It gives a +8 strength bonus to all styles and a prayer bonus. It holds 3 hours of charge and can be recharged with manuscripts of When, also dropped from the Archglacior. This active version, however, is not like the Scripture of Joss. You have a small chance to trigger a pillar of ice on your target, and once they are hit 5 times, it deals 400% ability damage. The 5 smaller hits each deal 1/100th of the damage of the final hit, so 420% total. When doing this test, it triggered 8 times in 5 minutes. To test this, I'm using my melee setup with tier 92 dual wield, Zero Scott Sword, and Trim Masterwork Spear. Here's the rules. No poison, no Cinderbanes, no familiar, no aura, no vulnerability, and Soul Split is active for the duration. Stuff like flanking, prayers, archaeology relics, and overloads are allowed. When testing this book, I noticed that it functioned similarly to the Armadillo God book. The Scripture of When and the Armadillo God book both summon a pillar, and any target in it will take damage. The pillar stays in place, so if the target moves out of it, no damage is dealt. Looking at the ideal situation though, the Scripture of When deals a total of 420% ability damage, and the Armadillo God book deals only 300% ability damage. Both have about the same activation rate, and targets can move out of both pillars. Since the Armadillo God book deals the most damage out of all the other God books, and the Scripture of When deals more damage than the Armadillo God book, the Scripture of When is definitely worth using over all those items. Let's go over when you should use this and when to not use this. The pillar does an AoE on its hits, so this is a nice option when fighting mobs you AoE. Since the active effect does a total of 6 hits, you could also use this on poisonable monsters with a Blood Reaver Familiar and Cinderbane gloves to trigger as many hits as you can. Anywhere you would have used the Armadillo Godbook also works for the Scripture of When, but this also means they share the same weaknesses. This will deal no damage if your target moves out of the way, so monsters that move around a lot or bosses you kite are not places to use the Scripture of When. In the end, I did 1,235,000 damage in 5 minutes. I counted 8 activations of the Scripture of When. The extra damage from the book activations over 5 minutes was 55,086 damage, which means I would have done 1,180,000 damage without the active effect. That's about a 4.6% damage boost, slightly beating over the Scripture of Joss's 4.3 damage boost in a previous video. This is still weaker than Scrimshaw's and Erethdor's Grimoire though. That's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.